back on that 2008 Dakotas trip with my parents, we would have an encounter that would almost mirror a similar event that would take place 11 years later. During those 9 days, we had all agreed that we would have a day that was our own. Each of us got to pick something, and it would be our day, and the other two couldn't question it and had to go along with it. My mother's special day was something we were going to do anyway. My mother loves Native American culture, and because of this, her special day was an extra long day at the Crazy Horse Monument, and she went through every exhibit with almost forensic attention to detail. My day was the Wall Drug Store in the Dakota Badlands. The Wall Drug Store takes up almost the entire town of Wall, and yes, it can be touristy, but I recommend it all the same. Just do it. My father's special day was the Cabela's in Rapid City. At the time, there weren't any Cabela's in Saskatchewan, and since my father was an outdoorsman, he wanted to check it out. Cabela's is a cathedral of sorts for all the outdoorsy types. This would be an exercise in role reversal of sorts because, for a change, it wasn't my father waiting for us at a retail store. It was my mother and I waiting for him. And it was his turn to go through all the outdoor equipment with the same forensic attention to detail as my mother had done at Crazy Horse the previous day. My mother and I would go to the in-store coffee shop and decided to wait out our time there. As we waited, the lady who ran the coffee shop started to tidy up as the store was going to be closing in about an hour. She decided to strike up a conversation with us. She asked where we were from, and we had said, Saskatchewan. She stopped what she was doing and said, Saskatchewan? Can you tell me about it there? Like, I don't know, what's the weather like there? So we told her, and we said we imagined that the weather was similar to South Dakota. Saskatchewan, we said, was a land of extremes, as it can get very hot in the summer and very cold in the winter. And there's many years where there would be lots of snow. It was then that my father would join us for coffee, and this woman started asking more odd questions. What's the traffic like there? I don't know, are there mosquitoes? And deer? I found the line of questioning odd as we answered her questions. Yes, traffic depended on where you lived, and yes, oh heck yes, we have tons of mosquitoes. I then questioned her. Is there anything in particular you want to know? Your questions are very, different. Why are you asking us these questions? It was then that her guard came down. She said, my sister got married years ago to a man from Canada, and they moved to Saskatchewan. I would never see her in person again. Neither of us had the money or the time to visit each other. It just seemed so far away, She got sick and died a few years ago. And because it was so far away, I wasn't able to be there for her at all. I never went to her funeral, and I don't even know where she's buried. I've got pictures, but Standing before us was a person who was desperately trying to connect with her lost sister at that moment. We were the tool, the proxy, to attempt to get her to experience her sister's final years through our eyes. My father would ask her where her sister had lived. She told us, and Dad said, oh yeah, I know that place. Good fishing and hunting there. If your sister liked the outdoors, she would have loved it there. Well, aside from the mosquitoes and the winters, and then he laughed. She laughed too, and became laser focused on us with her bright, beautiful eyes. We told her what we all knew of the area and relayed our own personal experiences. When we told her everything that we had known, she responded to us. I walked on the arm of Crazy Horse a couple of years ago. I carried a picture of my sister with me so she could be with me in that moment. I am a proud Lakota woman. I wish she was there with me. My mother said, but she was. You know that, don't you? This proud Lakota woman looked down and nodded. She said, thank you. Thank you for this. I needed this. Her body language revealed someone who had just made peace with something and was now happy. It was then that there was an announcement at the store that it was closing soon. I guess that's our cue to leave, my father said to her. It was nice to meet you, my mother said, as she reached out and touched this woman's arm. The woman would go back to closing up her coffee shop for the night. We would leave the store and talk about that encounter for the rest of the night. She was reaching through us to get in touch with her long-lost sister and vicariously experience her final years in some way. While it was sad in some respects, it was also painfully beautiful. And as you notice, I still think of her to this day. And that is the story of the proud Lakota woman. It'll bring us to the next episode that mirrors this one. It is a scene in the film I call The Proxy. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the gift of your time.